Make this.
Come.
Good afternoon, sir.
Please sit down.
Thank you, sir.
Sachin, please tell us something about yourself in brief.
Sir, my name is Sachin Agrawal. I am from Agra. I have done my class 10th and 12th from Vivekananda School, Bulandshahr. Post which I have done BA Honours History from Clodyman College, Delhi University. Currently, I am working as an Indian Trade Service Officer in DGFT, and presently I am posted in Delhi.
Posted in Delhi. So you cracked the exam in 2021 exam?
So I cleared UPSC CSE 2020 and got selected in 2021.
Okay, 2021 you got selected.
Yes.
All right. And now you are for upgrade.
Yes.
The exam you are writing for upgrade.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Your optional is history.
Yes, sir.
And the hobbies are?
So my hobbies include watching Bollywood movies and web series based on real life themes and historical incidents.
And historical incidents. Can you tell about historical films recently released without stirring any controversy?
Sir, there was a movie which was released way back in 2022, I think, Sardar Udham Singh. It did not generate any controversy and highlighted the contribution of India as one of the foremost freedom fighter and the impact of the revolutionary movement. So the movie did not generate any controversy, and largely it was mostly factual. We see a lot of factual inconsistency in various movies.
But do you think that the films that are based on historical content need to be factual or they should be creative?
So one of the main purpose those directors who make the historical movies is not to show history but to make profits. So they have to be somewhat creative. Like I can give the example of Jodhabai movie that was released way back in 2008 and 9. Now that the existence of Jodhabai itself is questionable. And now we have the good movie that is showing the love story between Akbar and Jodhabai. And so the movie want to show popular myth in the form of film. But we also have a movie which have tried to show a lot of factual consistency. But yes, the possibility of factual errors and manipulation are always there.
What is revisionism in history?
So revisionism in the history is trying to interpret the events of the past in the new dimensions and with the contemporary understanding of past in order to achieve certain ideological objectives.
Does it enrich history or replace it, history?
So it depends on the purpose for which the history basically being analyzed, and sometimes there are different people who are using history for different purposes in the society. The religious groups, or what we see as political class, or some historians who are trying to interpret the history in a new dimension.
You see, there is a clamor to interpret history differently now. Do you think it adds to historical facts or it's an attempt to replace the historical facts?
So, to some extent, sir, there has been the cherry picking of the historical facts in order to confirm the one particular truth. But I think, sir, we also have a lot of academic analysis and interpretation which have been ongoing, which try to present the new fact and evidence which are scientifically and robustly validated.
OTT content
Yes.
is definitely vulgar at
Yes.
times. Definitely vulgar. Now we have a censor board for films. Should we not also have some kind of mechanism to monitor, regulate OTT content?
So we already have a mechanism to regulate the OTT content, which is given in the IT rules, where we have the code for the online curated content. As well as at the same time, we have the DGFT Appellate Committee that has been envisioned under the broadcasting rules, under the IT rules, where we have three-tier DGFT Appellate mechanism. First is self-regulatory, another is at the government level. And besides that, the OTT platforms themselves have adhered to the content classification or the age-appropriate content classification, as well as not displaying the sexual or the vulgar content.
But the content, whosoever switches on, do you get to see that this content is meant for this? There is something very small that runs, but it's open to all. So should there not be a better regulation?
Yes, sir. So there should be definitely a better regulation, but I think, sir, the more of the regulation should be light touch regulation. Since OTT sector in India is a very nascent sector, so it requires certain kind of government support to flourish. And besides, it also connected with the issue of freedom of speech and expression. So definitely there should be regulation, but it should be light touch, not the restrictive regulations.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sachin, our finance minister is present. She presented white paper,
Yes.
and opposition party presented black paper. Which is the right thing? Which paper gives us real picture of India's development? Let us say employment position in India, youth employment.
So I think, sir, white paper and the black paper, if they are combinedly put together, would give a good picture. And sir, for the related data regarding the employment, government always releases the periodic labor force survey data, and we have the national economic review that was released. They provide a better understanding regarding the employment and various other situations.
Okay. Um, so you both combined, we will get a picture.
Yes, sir.
Now let us come to India matters. Bharat, why Bharat matters? Our External Affairs Minister has written a book. Why Bharat matters in your view in international politics?
Sir, in international politics, India is an emerging power, and it is the only power who is growing at the rate of more than 7% of the more than 7% GDP. Now, with respect to the why Bharat matters, because in geopolitical arena, India has the unique ability to claim the leadership of the global south, for which it hosted the Voice of Global South Summit, as well as it has the ability to shape the agenda on various global governance issues. Particularly, we saw this in the leadership of G20, and the discourse regarding the food security problems, discourse regarding the technological regulations, discourse regarding the climate change negotiations. All these agenda which holds various important dimensions for the unity together. India has its own unique role and the ability.
India talks that Indian foreign policy should be Vasudeva Kudumbakam, doing good for the world. But India is spending so much for defense. It is the third biggest military and is still making lot of agreement with France, US, USSR. We are going on improving our military power. Why is it so?
So there is a quote that peace is only achieved when you have the parity. So India is seeking defense not as an offensive instrument to attack the country's sovereignty or territorial integrity. It is seeking defense for its own self-protection, which is the legitimate right of any nation state.
Okay, last question. Deterrence gives you power or war gives you power? Any nation. Deterrence or war?
So this is mostly the deterrence which gives you the power. However, the deterrence has to be tested in the war field to determine whether they are actually effective or not.
Okay.
But I,
Mr. Sachin, now what did you take on whole this Paytm saga? What is happening now?
Sir, RBI has put restrictions on the Paytm because it was not compliant with the KYC norms, and there were the allegations of the money laundering that were happening through Paytm platform. There were already various fines that was imposed on the Paytm last year. I think 5 crore fine, and Paytm refused to comply with these directions. So restrictions have been imposed on the Paytm
In the
payment banks.
past, government has bailed out many sectors, even Yes Bank and PSU sectors. And this is a fintech space which is growing at a faster pace. And Paytm was one of the pioneer. Don't you think that any very harsh action will spoil the party and fintech space will get a hit out of that?
So I think it is the part of the regulatory mechanism of the RBI, and I think, so in my opinion, sir, the restrictions have been imposed on the Paytm wallet banks. The fintech sector as such will not be affected
Should they
greatly
not
by
try
this action.
to resolve the issue by giving them some time to comply within the, that is only for February 29 is a very short time. They may give 3 months time and ask them to comply so that the sector should not get any bad publicity. and the future of the fintech sector is not harmed.
So definitely the time should be
given to the Paytm and various other financial entities to
But
comply
as per
with
the
the
RBI
directions.
guideline, it has
But as
already
per the
given
RBI
various
guideline, it has already given various
adequate time to Paytm
adequate time to
and
Paytm
RBI has
to
already flagged
comply
various
with the,
issues
and RBI has already
earlier
flagged various issues
Okay.
earlier
See,
also.
you are fond of watching web series and all. Now you might be watching this crime movies also coming on Netflix and other platforms from US based movies. Whenever a policeman
Yes.
catches a criminal, he handcuffs him and then reads some warning to him. What is that warning called? It is called Miranda
So
warning. You might have heard about it. He may say you have right not to speak, you can keep silent and it will be used against you, and I am putting you under arrest right now. So in India there is no such practice. Why?
Sir, I'm not aware about the issue,
Sir, I'm not aware about the issue, sir. I will have to read more about that.
Okay. Okay, fine. Now tell me, what is the saving rate of our country? Domestic savings rate of our country.
Sir, I'm forgetting
Sir,
exact
I'm
ratio.
I'm forgetting sir exact ratio, sir.
Okay. And what is the per capita income?
So per capita income is around
So per capita income is around $2,100.
Everybody gives a different figure. Something around 2,400, 500. Okay, anyhow, different figures, no problem. See, if we have to reach Viksit Bharat stage 2047, what would be the per capita income at that time?
So per capita as per the current
So per
World Bank
capita, as per the current World Bank
classification, more
classification,
than 13
presently it is more than 13
Okay, and what would be
$13,000.
the size of GDP at that time?
the size of GDP, sir, as it
The
is
size of
estimated,
GDP,
it
sir,
will be
as it is
$35 billion
estimated,
by
it would be
2040.
$35 billion by
Fine.
2047.
Now, see, last few years, US dollar has strengthened against the other world currencies, whereas the economy was not doing well. Unemployment, inflation, and a lot of problems. How can a currency can strengthen when the uh, economy is not doing that well?
So, sir, can you sir please repeat?
So, sir,
See,
can you
US
sir please
dollar has
repeat,
been
sir?
strengthening over the years. Last 3-4 years, they have strengthened against other currencies. When their economy is not doing well, when the economy is not doing well, how can be a currency can strengthen?
Sir, so US dollar has
So
basically strengthened
US
because
dollar
of
has
the actions
basically
of Fed,
strengthened because of the
Fed,
Yes.
actions of
which have been
Fed,
raising the
which
interest
have
rates, so it
been
has
raising the interest
prompted the
rate, so it
capital
has
outflow from the emerging
prompted the
market
capital
economies.
outflow from the
Okay.
emerging market
See,
economies.
you are posted, suppose, in a state, and you have been given the task to convince the state government employees who are demanding reverting back to old pension scheme. To convince them the old pension scheme is better, how you will convince them?
So I have to convince that old pension
So I
scheme.
have to
Yes.
convince that old
Sir,
pension
the
scheme.
old pension scheme is
So
better
the old
because first
pension
of all
scheme
it
is
gives
better
the social
because first
security
of
to
all
the
it gives the
employees
social
that
security to the
around
employees that
50%.
around
This is a new
50%
pension scheme is better. Sorry, you have to give them. They are demanding old pension scheme. You have to give the argument to new
old
pension
pension.
scheme is better. Please stick to new pension scheme.
Sir, in the new
So,
pension scheme, first there is a
in the new
reduced fiscal
pension
burden
scheme,
on the
first there is a
government.
reduced fiscal burden on
Since
the
government
government.
already,
Since
before
government
2004,
already, before 2004, government
spent a huge amount of money
government
on the pensions.
spend a huge amount of money
And
on the
sir, in new
pensions.
pension scheme, the
And
linked
sir,
the
in new
market
pension
returns, which
scheme, the
are
linked the market returns, which
say,
are
in we see in the case
and
of
the
India, India is an
we
emerging
see in the
market
case of
economy.
India, India is an
So
emerging
there's a
market
lot of
economy.
wealth which is going to be
So there is a
generated in
lot
the
of wealth
market.
which
So
is
there
going
would
to
be
be
handsome
generated in the
returns
market. So
which
there
would
would
be
be
given to
handsome
the
returns
employees.
Can you
which would be
support it
given
with
to the employees.
some data, some historical figure? Then only they will be convinced. You saying something, it will be better. Some data, some figures, some power of compounding. You have to give some. Can you give some 1-2 points?
Sir, do not have that.
Sir,
How
do not have that.
historically
That's like.
equity investment has been better?
Sir, we see this
So we
performance
see
of
the
the stock markets and
performance
the
of the
various other
stock
instruments. They have
markets
been
and the
showing a
various other
good return.
instruments. They have
Okay,
been
good.
showing
Thank
a
you.
good return.
The DGFT was called the Chief Controller of Imports and Exports at one time.
Yes, sir.
Why was the name changed?
So in 1991, due to liberalization regimes, the government changed the name in order to indicate the signal that is no more about the restrictive licensing practices, and it's more about the facilitation of the global trade.
Meaning from a regulator to a facilitator.
Facilitator.
Did such a thing happen in some other organization also?
So regarding other organizations, I am not aware.
Is it fair to have an IAS officer as the DGFT? Why not? A trade service officer knows much more about it than I can.
Yes, sir.
This kind of superimposition of the IAS over other services, do you think it's fair?
Sir, the government has taken steps in order to promote the people from the other services to various positions. And
That's not the answer. Is it fair to superimpose an IAS officer over a specialized service like the trade service?
sir, there have been the concern that there has been a superimposition of IAS not only in this service but other spheres. But I think, sir, the government imposes because when you become a head of particular organization, it is not about
No, you
specialization.
already have the commerce secretaries there. So why have a DGFT also who's from the IAS? Commerce secretary is already there.
Sir, it is not just about the specialization, it is about the administrative arrangement and organization. Since
What administrative arrangement? Can't you be the DGFT?
yes, sir.
So, all right, history. Why do you think these Mughals kept shifting their capital between Delhi and Agra? Both are close by. Why weren't they happy with just one place?
Sir, it was more about the imperial preference of a particular ruler. Sir. So that's
Yeah,
why they frequently
I know
shifted
that,
the
but
capital.
what did it achieve? That sometimes Delhi, sometimes Agra.
So I think it was also from the strategic perspective of shifting the capital from Delhi to Agra.
What was the strategic perspective? They are hardly any distance from each other.
But Delhi was more prominent to the attacks from the outside, as compared to Agra was comparatively safer. And with the cultivation of the Mughal-Rajput relations, so Agra also has a stability.
And if I remember correctly, Akbar shifted the capital for a short time to Lahore also.
Lahore also, yes, sir.
What was the need for that?
Sir, I'm not aware, sir.
Think moving extreme northwest, there has to be a logical reason there.
Sir, basically strategic reason was that the foreign relations, there were a lot of attacks from outside. Like
From that side.
Kandahar and from Uzbeks and everything.
And now we are shifting capital between Delhi, Agra, Lahore. Suddenly one fine day Akbar decides he'll create a new capital, Fatehpur Sikri.
Fatehpur Sikri.
Now, how did that make any sense?
So that was to construct his own new cities in the Fatehpur Sikri and the entire imperial place architecture.
Why was that location chosen? Any idea?
So that place was very famous for the red sandstone and it was strategically at a higher location, the Fatehpur Sikri, as compared to the...
Why did the experiment fail?
So because the later imperial rulers did not continue with the Fatehpur Sikri and they again shifted the capital back to Delhi or then...
Why?
Sir, the exact reasons I am not aware. I would have to read about it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Tell me the difference between history and mythology.
So history is something which has been scientifically validated and robustly proven as per the scientific method of investigation. While in the terms of mythology, it is more about the belief system which influence the particular story.
Okay. This construction of Ram temple. What do you think on this?
So the construction of the Ram temple basically signify the spirit of the religious beliefs and signify the values of upholding of the ideals like compassion, truthfulness, purity, for which the Bhagwan Sri Ram stood for.
Ramayana was part of history or this mythology?
Sir, as per the current historical view, it is a part of mythology.
Okay. Do you think it's logical to create something based on a mythology?
So I think, sir, it is not about the mythology, it is about the belief and the faith of the 1.4 billion Indians who hold a belief in the virtue of the Ramayana.
Okay. Tell me who is your favorite Indian historian?
So I think, sir, I don't have any favorite Indian historians, sir. I read the view of almost all the historians.
Okay. Any historian which you prefer specifically?
So excess, there is no preference, sir.
Okay. Now tell me, what are the factors that led Britishers to leave India or grant independence to India in 1947? What were those factors?
So factors are multidimensional. One was the World War II, which resulted into the military and the economic destruction of the Great Britain. Then, sir, after the World War II, there was a rise of nationalist movement, particularly the Congress, which was Quit India movement, and there was also revolutionary movement, which was launched by the INA and the accompanying Royal Indian Naval Mutiny Revolt, which basically led to the shaking of the confidence of the British rulers in the army for upholding the British rule in India. All these factors combinedly decided the course of British withdrawal from India.
My last question. Tell me, is it important enough to study history? Why government today should invest in studying history?
So history, understanding of the history, first of all, gives a better understanding of the issues at the hand. And understanding of the history also gives various important lessons, which one should learn from the history in order to use in the present as well as the future. So that's why I said it is important to learn from history, and by learning the history, we get to understand about our culture, we get to understand about our tourism, about our monuments, about our rich legacy in various fields. So appreciation of all these facts are very important for a good citizen.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Sachin, so formal interaction is over.
Okay, sir.
So how do you feel about it?
So I have to brush up about the history a little bit.
Like?
Sir, regarding the shifting of capital, sir.
Okay.
And sir, mostly, sir, I was able to answer. And there
Mostly
was
you
one
were able
question.
to answer and you are happy with it.
Yes, sir.
So how did your mains go?
Sir, I'm not aware, sir. I've been giving the mains. So this was my fourth mains. So, sir, I'm not aware, sir.
Wait, how much did you get in your last interview in UPSC?
So I got 171.
Okay. All right. So, all right. I think you come across as a very good candidate. When is the interview now?
So 13th March.
13th March.
Yes,
You are ready for that. Only these brushing up is required.
Yes, sir.
Current affairs and your optional. I think if you concentrate only on these, you are fine. You communicate well, you are expressive, you are reasonable, everything. But I fail to understand what are you trying to hide by keeping your hands like this?
Why is
Why
hand
should
not
your
normal?
hands are fixed? Why keep like that? How would you sit in your office?
Sir,
कैसे बैठोगे कुर्सी पे कैसे बैठते हो?
sir, ऐसे ही बोला है ऐसे।
नहीं नॉर्मली बैठिए आप आराम से बैठो कैसे बैठते हो? हाँ, अब ठीक है ना ऐसे बैठे
थोड़ा नेचुरल लगना चाहिए.
थोड़ा नेचुरल लगता है ना एंड यू कैन यूज योर हैंड्स
Okay, okay.
ऐसा नहीं है कि एज इफ आई डोंट नो यूर टॉन क्रॉच और समथिंग डोंट डू दैट यू कैन यूज योर हैंड्स okay maybe people have told you in certain mocks and YouTube videos that keep your hand fixed, nothing like that. You can use that. Otherwise, you are very good. Nothing to add. You are already there. You have faced interview. You have scored well, and we hope you will do still better. You have the personality. You have the presence, reasonableness. Communicate well. Everything goes in your favor. All right. So all the very best.
All the best. Just one small question. Why weren't you answering that DGFT IAS question?
Yes, sir.
Why
So,
we-
उसमें, like the most of the panel members are IAS officers only.
So what? So am I? So what?
If I go against the IAS, so
Oh, yellow.
if I somehow say that IAS monopoly should be reduced.
No, it is incorrect to say that they are all IAS officers.
So if we see at the secretary and additional secretary level, it is virtual monopoly of IAS officers.
So you can always say that yes, this is the era of specialists.
Yes.
This is an era of specialists. There is a case for the ITS officers to head the departments. इतना तो कह सकते हो you are not speaking against the IAS.
तो IAS क्या?
Against मत बोलो तुम ये तो कह सकते हो this is an era of specialization and there is a case for departmental officers to reach the top.
Yes.
इतना तो
Yes.
कह सकते हो यार.
ये तो बोल सकते हैं.
You are going round.
You made it IAS versus He put you in a spot, you got into a spot, whereas there was a simple answer.
सीधा सवाल था, जवाब था जो उन्होंने दिया.
इससे अच्छा क्या कर बोलोगे कि you didn't mention IAS even once. You pleaded your case. चलो.
All the best. Bye bye. All the best.
Very diplomatic answer.
Very good.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
All the best. Bye bye.